Hi, my name is Neeti, and like everyone else, I have had my fair share of challenges and stressful situations, but unlike many, a threat to life. I was 31 years old when I got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2012. And what may seem like a distant memory now has brought about some very meaningful changes in my life. As a part of the treatment, I underwent mastectomy, which means that one of my breasts was removed, followed by chemotherapy, then hormonal treatment for 6 years, and additional two surgeries for breast reconstruction in 2015. I'm not going to talk to you much about my journey during the treatment because I have somewhat covered it in my previous TEDx, but more about post that. The theme for today's talk is inner resilience. And while I can talk to you about how to build it through physical and emotional well being, following leaders, journaling, etc., I want us to dig deeper. I want to take you to its core. The core, as I have understood and experienced, is to have a purpose in life. So I'm going to talk to you about the purpose of having purpose, whether it's short term or long term, whether it's related to love, money, career, health, spirituality, whatever rocks your boat. It's important to have a clearly perceived purpose. Having a clear purpose will help you build inner resilience and determination. Despite the obstacles, you will be given a direction to keep on going on. Having a purpose will give you the direction to run and inner resilience to keep walking when you can no longer run. But is it easy to find the purpose in life? Well, for some, it may be simpler to find smaller and less complex purpose and keep moving to a new target. While for others, the zest and energy may come from working towards a lifelong purpose. I will talk to you today about inner resilience and the importance of having a purpose through some of my own life experiences. Many of you may think that a patient fighting cancer would need inner resilience the most. But once the treatment ends and all the unwavering support of friends, doctors, family that seem to be providing assurance suddenly seem to be vanishing, it becomes a task. Amidst all the noise comes a long pause that you have to fight alone. You suddenly have to manage kids, work, home, your medication, follow ups, everything on your own because your loved ones get on with their lives thinking that you're good to go from here. So, noise is not always bad. It can bring with it a quiet reassurance. For me, I had full family support. I couldn't have asked for more. But only the person undergoing the situation understands the particular emotional nuances of it. So, when the treatment ended, it should have been all hunky dory from there. But it came with the own challenge, the challenge to find the new normal. I never discussed this feeling with my loved ones because I understood that in some way or the other, their lives were on hold. So I thought to myself, what do I need now to keep going? And the answer was a new purpose. The purpose was to find my new normal. And what a phenomenal ride it has been since. If you ask me, would I prefer a life where cancer would not have happened? Absolutely not. I am so thankful to God for having given me this experience in life because it has brought a lot of meaningful changes. In addition to start to eating healthier, exercising more, I learned to prioritize. I became more spiritual. I learned to let go. It also brought a beautiful purpose of life. Professionally, I was teaching human resource management to B-school students when cancer happened. I left my job as an associate professor HR and I started my NGO, Yes to Life, in 2014. I also run a breast cancer center for the underprivileged. We provide free of cost breast health OPD. We go to slums and villages for breast cancer awareness, wherein we teach the ladies how to do self-breast exam. We talk to them about signs and symptoms, and we distribute pictorial brochures. We provide them with free diagnostic screenings, emotional support, and counseling. We do free screening camps in the community, provide financial support for treatment, and rehabilitation support to women who had to lose a breast to cancer by giving them free of cost prosthesis, which is an artificial breast, and mastectomy bras. Me and my team have been working towards the vision of downstaging breast cancer for more than a decade now. And this has truly changed the direction of my life. And with all of these life altering changes, Niti 2.0 also had some very beautiful spiritual experiences. I remember so vividly that during one of my follow ups, after the main treatment got over, I was standing in the hospital outside a cafe, and I felt so quiet within. I could see all the world moving around me, the doctors, patients, their caregivers, staff. It was like that shot from the movie Dil Chahta Hai when in song Tanhai, Amir Khan is standing still and everyone around him is moving. That stillness, that quiet, the calm, that you can only feel as an observer and not a participant. I can never forget that feeling. My purpose during that time period related to spirituality was not just to understand it, but to experience it. And I made myself open to it. I read a lot of good books. I listened to some very practical and experienced spiritual gurus. I practiced the art of creation. And I had some wonderful experiences that helped me understand better how I was aligned with the higher power. I kept on working towards it and it kept on flowing towards me. And I'm so thankful to God for all of these experiences. Now, let me take you to a time when the diagnosis happened. My son was almost 3 years old, and I would be lying if I said that there was never any twinge of fear. The only time that the thought, what if something happens to me, came to me was the time when I thought about my son. And every time I visualized my husband, my son, his wife, their kids, and of course myself chilling at a beach in Goa, because that is where we want to finally settle. And every time that I visualized this, I could release the fear. I could let go of fear. I could choose love over fear. And this is the only time in my life that I have used visualization because I was so clear where I wanted to be. I wanted to win over cancer. I wanted to be with my family. I wanted to see my son grow. So I used all my courage to fight the odds. The journey wasn't always easy. I had extreme fatigue. I had to let go of a breast cancer. I lost all my hair, including my eyebrows and eyelashes. I underwent blood transfusion. I was nauseatic, but I never gave up. I had seen what fear can do to people. There's a funny anecdote to it. One of my friends, also a breast cancer survivor, rather we met because cancer was the common factor in our lives. She thought that she would not survive, and so she decided to find a wife for her husband. She actually made a list of all her unmarried friends, separated friends, those that she thought were unhappy in marriage. Well, she survived and the husband didn't marry anyone else. But that is why it is important to know where to put that stop. For me, since I knew where I wanted to beat cancer. So I kept running. I kept walking when I couldn't run. I sat down when I couldn't walk. And I lied down and just let the day pass when I couldn't sit. But I applied every ounce of my energy, both physical and emotional, to win over cancer. And I'm so thankful to God for having given me this second chance at life. And also so thankful to Him for giving me the sense and strength to turn my pain into purpose. Now, let me take you a little back to the time when I did PhD in October 2011. In that time period, of course, it was a lot of hard work. I had a 2-year-old son. I was teaching full time and I had other responsibilities like all of us have. But till that time, I was doing PhD because that seemed to be the next logical step to move ahead in the career. Then I underwent cancer and the diagnosis and treatment and everything happened and there was a long gap because now I was putting all of my energy and focus into starting and establishing the NGO. And I realized that the time to submit my thesis was coming to an end. And I did tell my husband that it was very difficult to continue with it now. He reminded me when we had met for the first time and ours was a proper arranged marriage setup, I had told him that I would be doing PhD after marriage. So he jokingly told me, "You give me what you promised." And that I did. I applied all of my hard work in that 1 year, all days and all nights, and I submitted my thesis in time. The difference was that now I wasn't doing PhD any longer for career progression. I had left that road already, but I wanted to finish what I had started. I never wanted to look back at life and think that there was something that I couldn't do because of cancer. And my proud dad has my name saved in his phone as Dr. Nipilika Chabra. So what is the common factor in all of these real life examples? It's the knowledge of purpose. It's knowing where you want to be. It's the commitment to strive. It's the inner resilience to endure all odds. And not just try to fight the odds, but to flourish in them. For me, cancer has given me a beautiful purpose. The work that I do is not a job. I don't have a boss who tells me what to do. I am not paid to do this work. I am not answerable to anyone but to myself. When I started the NGO, I would send out 100 emails every day to schools, corporates, universities, asking them to organize breast cancer awareness talks, only to get a reply from maybe 1 or 2 places. But standing here today, I feel so much gratitude in sharing with you that we have reached out to more than 8 lakh people for breast cancer awareness. So ask yourself today, do I have a purpose in life? Am I ready to endure all the hardships that will come my way? Because believe me, there will be many. But if you are sure where you want to be, just dust yourself off and rise again. This is inner resilience. Until the time you are able to find that purpose in life, keep working with inner resilience and determination towards your short term purpose. And how will you know when you have found that right purpose? When every cell in your body feels agreeable, when the smile of knowing what is right brightens your face, when your being feels peaceful, when you have the right purpose. And before I end my talk today, I'd just like to share a few lines with you that I wrote during chemotherapy, and this is my first ever written composition. I looked outside the window. I wondered how it happened to me. I looked for strength outside. My God said, "You have it within." I asked him for devotion. I felt his blessings as deep as ocean. I touched his lotus feet. My God hugged me and made me complete. I thank God every second of my life, for else I couldn't have won this strife. I am no more scared of the future as I have him for my tutor. Thank you very much.